Hello all. Thank you for patiently waiting while other participants join. This is 6:35 Central African time. I think we have waited for about 5 minutes for everybody else to join, so maybe we can start, then other people will join through. For the time being, I think it would be great for all of us to do self-introductions so we know who's on the call and what organizations they are representing. I think I will start on my end. My name is Sopani Robert Newa, as Gina has said. I'm the program manager for Animal Advocacy Africa. I'm responsible for leading the strategic planning and implementation of our capacity building interventions here in Africa. From here on, I think I will just pass it on to Daniel, and then he can introduce himself, and then the line will go on and so forth. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Supan. My name is Daniel Adunda. I'm the director for Animal Welfare in Ghana. I'm Animal Advocacy group in Ghana. And we are happy to listen into this call to learn from brother and colleague Abdul-Rahman. Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Should I introduce myself again?
Yes, please.
Okay, well, my name is Abdul-Rahman Safian. I represent the West Africa Center for the Protection of Animal Welfare. It's an animal welfare charity in Ghana. We'll be talking about our work in Ghana and elsewhere. Thank you very much.
Okay, hello, hi. My name is Lorato Lekoko. I'm just a student at the University of Edinburgh in the UK. So I'm very much interested in animal welfare. So I thought like maybe I should join in so that I could come and learn more on the topic. So thank you. That's it. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mishi Majid. I'm also a student, LLB at Strathmore University. So I'm also interested in animal welfare, and I want my dissertation to be in that area. So yeah, that's why I just thought to join and learn.
Yeah, hello, I'm Apia Mubarak from Ghana. I'm with West Africa Center for the Protection of Animal Welfare. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Yvonne Gurira. I'm the founder and executive director of Animal Advocacy International. I'm joining you from Zimbabwe. And we are also working on farmed animal welfare, and I'm interested in learning what is happening from other jurisdictions. And I hope to meet everyone in person sometime. Thank you.
I think as other people are joining us, then I think they will learn what this webinar is all about. I think for the time being, allow me to introduce Animal Advocacy Africa as an organization working in the African continent or region. AAA, in an abbreviation, Animal Advocacy Africa, works to strengthen the funding capacities and effectiveness of African animal advocacy organizations that are reducing animal suffering. Particularly, we are more focused on farm animals. We are proud to say that we are the first effective altruism-aligned organizations dedicated to building the capacities of existing organizations in Africa by focusing on funding and organizational effectiveness. So we do this through, implementing a capacity building intervention in the form of one-to-one support and group sessions, which we do with the organizations that have, applied to our organizations and aligned to how we're going to support them. And then from then on, we also do group sessions such as this one to help advocates develop the relevant skills and a clearer understanding of running an effective animal charity. We provide advice and resources ranging from fundraising, strategy, decision-making, operations to communications even. So the aim of our program interventions is to actually help organizations overcome challenges, prepare for growth, and do more effective work that will help animals in relatively neglected regions. And we all know that Africa is part of it. In brief, I think that's what animal advocacy is all about. I think you can go to our website, you can find extra information about our key objectives and the key model on how we achieve this. And you can also go to our social platforms, either on LinkedIn or on Facebook, and think you can be able to find extra information. Let me not spend much time describing about Animal Advocacy Africa. I think this webinar is concentrating more on one of the organizations which we work with closely, which is doing tremendous work in the they're going to present more on their work here in Africa. The presenter is Abdul-Rahman. Hopefully I'm spelling the name correctly. So our presenter is Abdul-Rahman, and he's representing the organization called West Africa Center for the Protection of Animal Welfare, in short terms, WACPAW. So in due course, when I'm describing the organization, I think I'll be using the short form or abbreviation called WACPAW. I just want to spend some time to introduce Abdul as a representative of WACPAW as an organization in West Africa. So Abdul-Rahman Safian is the co-founder and director of the West African Center for the Protection of Animal Welfare. He is going to present the current programs and work that he is doing in Ghana, in West Africa, Ghana in particular, in terms of the country. The webinar will center around improving the welfare of farmed animals at commercial markets during transportation and slaughter of animals. Abdul-Rahman Safian graduated from the University of Ghana and officially started working to improve animal welfare in 2016 when WACPAW was registered. At the government level, he has helped to review the curriculum of veterinary nursing students to increase animal welfare courses in Ghana. And then, going to WACPAW as an organization is an animal welfare organization operating in Tamale in Ghana, focused on protecting the welfare of animals during transportation, slaughter, and the general health and well-being of animals. The key objective is to lobby with stakeholders and the authorities to draft policies and improve attitudes of people towards the treatment of animals with the aim of reducing animal suffering caused by caregivers. WACPAW also focuses on encouraging good practice prior to and during transportation. At the laylage, I hope everybody else is quite familiar when I talk about railage, and during the slaughter of animals. Their case is founded on the fact that slaughterhouses, for instance, violate animal welfare standards due to the lack of animal welfare in developing countries. Issues such as whether slaughterhouses slaughter pregnant animals, for example, transporting pregnant cows under the inhumane conditions, or the malhandling of food animals in general. So that's what WACPAW in Ghana focuses much on. I believe that when Abdul comes in, I think he will present more in line with the work that they are doing. It's very tremendous work. I think I've talked to Abdul a couple of times, and I feel that they are doing a lot of impact in Ghana. So that's about the presentation ahead and animal advocacy, Africa in general. At this moment, before I would hand it over to Abdul, I would like to also give an attention remark that within the presentation, there could be graphic images that would be shown, which I believe to some people might be offensive, but then to some people, as animal advocates, I believe we have seen them before, so it might be okay. So just as a disclaimer, there could be graphic images as we go through the presentation. Thank you so much. Let me hand it over to Abdul. Gina, could you please bring over the presentation that Abdul will present, and then Abdul, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sopani, for the wonderful introduction. I wish to thank everybody for joining in and to listen to what WACPAW has. And so today we are going to talk about the work of West Africa Center for the Protection of Animal Welfare in Ghana, which we plan to move beyond Ghana, because animal welfare in Africa is really a case that we need to deal with. Thank you. Next slide, Jenna. Just straightforward into the slides. All right, so basically, Supani has already talked a little more about WACPAW, which I'm just going to reiterate. WACPAW was incorporated in 2016 in October, when we had already done quite a lot on the ground, because before we started the organization, we were already working around to see what we could do to help people relate well with animals. In fact, my reason for going into the welfare industry is born out of my passion for animals. In fact, I was a shepherd. And so during my time as a shepherd, I had one ram I called potentially. It used to relate quite well with me, most likely like a pet. And so one day I came back from school and it was dead. I found it dead in the pen. So I was so devastated, so weakened, and wept so hard. My dad was like, why? I was like, this ram here is like my life. I'm so connected to it. I couldn't explain. And so right from there, I began to go into animals to see what really they have. And you realize that if you go close to animals, you realize that they are very peaceful animals. They are very peaceful beings, and they can actually motivate you a lot. Maybe some other time we will look at that one. And so those kind of relationships with the animals motivated me to actually go into animal welfare. I didn't even know that what I was doing was called animal welfare until I started reading about it. And so in 2016, after my graduation in University of Ghana, actually I did public administration in University of Ghana. But when I came out, I said, no, my passion is with animals, and so I will have to move towards that side. That made me go into animal welfare. So the organization was set up with me and my colleague. We registered animal WACPAW, and that's how we came by it. Our goal is to seek compassionate treatment of animals with the aim of reducing animal suffering and pain caused by human beings. Naturally, some people see animals as just objects, and so they can treat them anyhow. When you visit the markets, even at home, you find people kicking their animals, not just cats and dogs, but the goats and sheep they have, because maybe they want food and it's not around, they just kick it. And so we think that for us to be able to correct that is an anomaly. For us to be able to correct that, we need to come in to let people understand that no, that is not the best way to handle animals. And so one of our objectives was to be able to do that. We also focus on farm animals. The reason we did farm animals was that not all people, especially in Africa, have pets, even though the elite, those people we describe as elite, have pets that they have in their house to keep them mostly for security. All those animals we have around us are either kept in the house for economic purposes. And so we try to concentrate on those ones to allow people or to be able to educate people on how to handle those animals so that either they are able to benefit from them or the animals benefit from the human beings. Then also in the auction markets also, we try as much as possible to let people understand that it is not the best to just handle animals anyhow. You need to go through certain processes to be able to handle the animals so that even if you were killing it for food, you will get the benefit of it. Because if you manhandle an animal, that one may cause the productivity or the product of the animal to go bad when you process the carcass. Okay, reduces the shelf life of the animal. We'll come to that when we go further. And also at the slaughterhouses. In fact, when we go further, you will realize that in our slaughterhouses, worldwide generally, many people do not really care about the welfare of animals there, because at the end of the day, they tell you that I want to slaughter it. And so what do I care? And we say no. Even if you want to slaughter it, you should let the animal at least die a peaceful death, so that it doesn't go through a lot of stress and pain. Our vision is to work in a world in which animals are respected and with their what? Welfare. I think some of this is being covered. Okay. So at the end of the day, we want to see an Africa. Yeah, good. We want to see an Africa where animal rights especially is respected and protected. Their dignity is protected, because they are not just objects. They are beings. If you cut an animal, blood will flow out. So it means that the way you feel pain is the same way as the animal feels. And so we want to kind of establish that bond between humans and animals so that human beings treat animals as though they were the same. And our mission is to relentlessly champion the welfare of animals that we are doing now through education, training, research, and effective collaboration. And when we talk about effective collaboration, I think our relationship with our colleagues in the animal welfare industry is good. And then we really appreciate that AAA and then the other organizations that we are working with. That is the reason we are in the industry. Jenna? We will go to the next slide because this one's so maybe the last one. Good. Right. The first slide shows how we entered into the welfare industry, because before you go into any business, you need to know it, and you need to let people know what you want to do and what you want to achieve. And so for us to be able to start our work, we started with a symposium that we organized for the first time in Ghana to talk about animal welfare. We did it in Tamale, and then we did it in Kumasi. We did it also in the University of Cape Coast. trying to put together everybody, including students, veterinary nurses, doctors, even security people, animal holiers, we don't call them handlers, farmers, all those who are involved in the livestock value chain. Because whatever you are going to do, those people's either businesses or lives would be affected by the work you are doing. And so for you to be able to effectively do your work, you need to engage all of them, to bring them together, to let them understand what it entails, so that as you move along, you will have their cooperation. They will assist you. They will work with you. They will be ready to help you achieve your aim. And so we organized the first symposium in Ghana to educate people on animal welfare with the help of our partners from the Netherlands. In fact, the one you see on my left, I think this here, my left, is Leslie Moffat and then Madeleine. They came all the way from Holland to assist us do that. And they come every year so that we'll be able to do the work of animal welfare in Ghana. Next slide, please. Great. The next slide shows how animals are handled somewhere in Africa. You would see how the guinea fowls are turned upside down. Every now and then we face these challenges, and we try to educate people that this is not the right way to handle animals, especially birds. Birds do not have diaphragm. And so when you turn a bird upside down, what you are doing is that you are trying to push all the viscera, that is the abdominal part, out of the mouth of the bird. And so in no time, you will find the bird suffocating with saliva coming out of the nose. And so what we try to do, we go into the market to tell people not to use that. We train people how to handle them by the upright catching method or holding method. Maybe in the last slide, you would find that there's also some local crates that we use, so that instead of bundling them like this upside down, you put them in the local crates, okay, so that the birds can stand in the crates, and you send them to wherever you want to send them during their transit. This other slide that we see the cow's leg outside. These cattle were transported from Cote d'Ivoire. Actually, they traveled for the whole day with this thing. So when we interviewed them, they said they don't see anything wrong with this, and you would see blood coming out of that. And so we tried as much as possible to push it. But in fact, in this same vehicle, we saw one animal whose neck was broken because of loading pressure. The loading density was too high because they overloaded it. And so if a cow falls down, that is it. The others will trample on it. And so with this one, we tried as much as possible to let them understand that you are not supposed to do all these things. Unfortunately, most of the challenges we have in here is that most of the holiers are not Ghanaians and they don't understand English. So we have a language barrier there. But still, what we try to do is to try and create this kind of barrier that the abattoir, those they bring the animals to kill, that's the abattoir managers, to try as much as possible to kind of put in a measure that if you come in like this, you are going to pay more. And so that one is going to make the holiers reduce the number, because if they overload and come, they would pay more. That is what we do. We try to do there to be able to scare them or prevent them from overloading the vehicles. Next slide, please. This is also loading situations in Tamale. Tamale cattle market. You would find that in this case, especially the video, you realize that because of the absence of a loading ramp, they load it manually. And during the manual loading, the animal's life is in danger because they tie the neck with the leg, with the rope, and then they try to lift it into the vehicle whilst others are pulling the rope. So the life of the animal could be seriously injured. The animal could have broken tail because the tail will be turned. Because they want the animal to just, they want to calm it by force. And so they tie it, they bundle it, and they throw it into the vehicle. You can see that in the left hand, that's how it is. And the cow is going to be like this and travel for like 12 hours, 14 hours from Tamale to either Kumasi or from Tamale to Accra. So for this case, what we did was that we tried to build a loading ramp for them so that instead of the manual loading, what you need to do is just to get the animals into a place we call a waiting pen, all right? And then the vehicle will come back to it so the animals can walk out into the vehicle by themselves. And whilst doing this, we try to get one animal, which is, or one bull that is docile, that is not so aggressive. And you know, because animals, cattle, you can move them in a group. You can move them in a group if one takes a lead. And so we try to get one docile one and then pull it up. So as it moves up through the ramp into the vehicle, the others follow. So you need little pressure or little force to get the others into the vehicle. So one of the interventions we did there was to construct a loading ramp for them so that they would stop loading them manually this way, and then rather use the loading ramp to be able to get them. And that one is even easier for them, and then their lives is not really threatened, because this way some of them get injured. And so we try to come in and help them. Next slide, please. And so you can see the loading ramp. In fact, this one is the biggest one we're trying to do. There's a smaller one that they are currently using. This is the biggest one, I think. It's supposed to be in Ghana. There are two. So you can have two vehicles coming in to load at the same time. And it's the project is like 60% complete. We had issues from the other side and then funding, because what we got couldn't complete the project for us. And so we still saw some funds to be able to complete it, so that the horrific nature of manual loading in the Tamale livestock market would completely stop. Next slide. Yes, this is Kumasi Abattoir. We actually went in there to intervene in the way they kill pigs for food. They use a metal rod to hit the head of the pig to restrain it before they slaughter it. And this practice is almost worldwide. A lot of people do this to restrain pigs before they kill them for meat. And then we think that this is not the best, because if you try to do this, you put the animal on a lot of stress and pain. So we try to come in with two interventions. One is to try and fix the raceway. There's supposed to be a raceway, a waiting pen connected to the raceway, and then the restraint box, so that those pigs or animals that are going to be slaughtered could be walked in to the raceway, and then you now use what we call the captive bolt stunner to stun the pig, to restrain it completely, and then make it unconscious so that it doesn't feel any pain when you are either cutting the neck or you do what we call chest sticking. So we intervene in there to fix their raceway for them, and also the stun box, and provided captive bolt stunners for them to use, so that this practice is stopped completely. And they were very happy this was our intervention came in. Next slide. This is also University of Cape Coast Meat Unit, and then Cape Coast Abattoir. The left-hand side is when we put people together to train them on how to use the captive bolt stunner in the meat unit. Here, we let them know how, or we train them on how to load, unload, fire, and all those things that you need to do to be able to restrain the animal, make it unconscious before you slaughter the animal. That's me doing it. Next slide, please. So you would see us presenting the captive bull stunner to the manager of Kumasi Abattoir. He was in charge of the abattoir. He's actually not the overall manager, but he's in charge of the management of the butchers and the animal handlers. So we after the training, we give them that to use, and we visit them quite often to see how it is used and also maintain the equipment. And you will find the equipment here. We give knives, so the stunners, the cartridges, we give knife sharpeners. All those equipments that are available to us that will help reduce pain and strain and stress of animals in the slaughterhouses, we try to provide. Yeah, next slide. This was also an intervention we did in the Tamale Abattoir. Inside the abattoir, there was a long drain. It's just the entrance, so that when animals are being brought in, most of them will fall into the gutter and break their legs. Some break their hips, and a whole lot of inhumane acts that happened at that spot. So we came in to kind of reduce the pain and stress by putting in a big drain pipe inside and covering it, so that animals can now walk over that drain and send inside there to be slaughtered. And so that was the intervention we did today. Next slide, please. You would find this. The red hand side shows how dirty how dirty or distracted the floor of the abattoir was. It was first done with tiles, which got broken, and inside it you would find the black dots. Those are holes, let me call them, and you'd find maggots in there. And so as they prepare the meat on the floor, it could get contaminated. So we came in there to refloor it with terrazzo, so that the floor is very smooth, because in it you can't, the hoisting system there is not strong. Those metal rails weren't meant to hoist live animals or hoist a whole animal. And so what we needed to do first was to make sure that the floor is good, so that when they are preparing the meat, immediately you pour water on the blood and other things, it will just clean or run into the gutter and then move out, as we try to also find a way of getting them a hoist, so that after slaughtering, you can hoist the animal up and then prepare the carcass. But in the meantime, we had to just work on the floor to help them, so that either meat contamination also is prevented. Yes, next slide. Right. Challenges we face as an organization. Inadequate fund, I think this one is quite unique to all animal welfare organizations in Africa and the world at large. Inadequate funding, lack of interest of people. Up till date, some people still think that animals are their objects and their properties, and so they can treat them anyhow. And so they don't really care what you are doing. And so that one is a hindrance and a big challenge to us as an organization and most animal welfare organizations. Lack of government support. Because of this particular thing, we are unable to enforce a lot of the things we want people to do, because there's nobody watching over us. And so if you think that there's an animal welfare violation in the abattoir or in the market, all you need to do is to just talk about it and try to intervene in your own way. But if there were policies or laws in place that could catch up with people, I think that our work would have been made a bit easy. And also technical know-how. A lot of people are in this industry or in this sector and does not really know exactly what they are supposed to be doing. And so this one is a big challenge. Some people have the interest, they want to do it, but because they do not have the technical know-how, they find it very difficult to work. A lot of people come to us and they say, we want to volunteer for you. And when you go into the field, they find it difficult to cope because they do not really understand what they are supposed to. So it takes quite a lot of time for you to be able to get one or two people to do exactly what you want them to do in the field. Lack of logistics is also a very huge challenge. If you do not have logistics, how do you move around? And so your operational area becomes very narrow and small. Meanwhile, the issues of animal welfare is quite broad and nationalistic. And so we think that these challenges are quite serious and thus hinders our work as an organization. So major collaborators and beneficiaries, we have collaborated with quite a number of organizations. ISO Anonymous is our major sponsor and collaborator. They have helped us quite a lot in our work. Pazioli, they are from Netherlands. Pazioli also from Italy have also helped tremendously. Barkens Nude is also from Netherlands. They all have helped us quite a lot in our work. CIWF, they actually sponsored us to rehabilitate one loading ramp in one of the districts in Tamale, Savalugu market to be precise. They sponsored it, Tamale Veterinary. In fact, we have used their facilities to train both vets and butchers on humane handling and slaughter of animals. University of Development Studies, University of Cape Coast have all helped us and they all collaborate with us. And we're still hoping to get a lot more people to come in and join so that we can reduce pain and stress of animals in Ghana. And so some of the beneficiaries, Kumasi Abattoir, Tamale Abattoir, Cape Coast Abattoir, Jefamco, have Dakojom also. I think last 2 weeks or so we were in Ampoma Farms and also at Simprika, then Sunshine Farms at around Aveime. Ampoma is in the eastern region and Simprika is also in Accra. We are working with quite a lot of farms and abattoirs and slaughter slabs in Ghana. In fact, apart from all these things we do in farm animal welfare, we also try to do to work with some other key stakeholders, all in our bid to let people know the importance of animal welfare. And so in schools, we try to establish what we call the animal welfare ambassadors. We have clubs in schools that we set up, and the students, they themselves will come up with a program or a project that they will do either during the weekends or on holidays, and then they report. We try to do all those. There are a lot of things we do just to be able to educate people on animal welfare, the importance of animal welfare in Ghana. Jenna? Right. This is the latest projects we did. I think just 2 days ago, I just came back from Sinyani. We organized a day's workshop for poultry farmers, vet agri extension officers. The fine attendants were also chiefs to introduce animal welfare to them, and also especially the poultry farmers to train them on what we call the upright catching method, because most of them do catch their birds upside down, which is an animal welfare violation. So in this workshop, we try to educate them on that, and they were very excited and appreciated what we did with them, and they really were so happy that they said we should always come around to educate them. And when they go out, they will also try and talk to their people. They really now appreciate what it meant to be animal welfare friendly. Right? All right, thank you very much. Santi, merci, dank, and gracias. I try to get everybody involved in our thank you. So I wish to thank you very much for your patience and your time. If you have any concerns or questions to ask us, Subani, over to you.
Thank you so much, Abdul, for that informative presentation. It was exciting to see the work that WACPAW is doing in Ghana. I think I get always excited about the impactful work that organizations are doing here in Africa. You would see that there is a lot of work to be done and a lot of sensitization for people to grasp the concept of animal welfare within the African region. I think at this point, I would like to give the floor to each and everyone within the participants to actually, ask, make comments. I think it's always great to be active, so much so that we can share knowledge and we can share key learning areas, so much so that each and every one of us can better implement animal welfare issues within the countries which we are in. So at this point, I think I'll leave it open for people if they've got questions towards Abdul or Animal Advocacy Africa in general. Yeah, so it's over to everyone else. Thank you. I think I can start. Abdul, I think I've got one question for you. Particularly, my question falls in line with the reception of communities towards your animal welfare messaging and how that relates to low income dynamics of people within the African region. Because I know that when it comes to animal welfare and human welfare, people would always prioritize human welfare first. And then if they've got more income on their plate, they can be better at investing on animal welfare. So I think my question lies on how that would affect your messaging and how people would receive the animal welfare initiatives that you put forward to communities within your region or your country.
Okay, thank you, Stefan. I think that this question is really tough. And then what I'll say is that anywhere we go, especially in the communities, the first thing they ask you is, are we done with human welfare? Why are you so particular about animal welfare? And the simple thing we tell them is that the two are interrelated. If you make do with animal welfare, then human welfare would definitely be affected. And so we try as much as well. We have what we call the alternative livelihood project that we try to do, so that that one can lure people into understanding or like appreciating what we call or the term animal welfare. And so we try to bring in something for them to do so that it will kind of complement whatever they were doing to make life, assuming they were just rearing some few birds or fowls in their homes, and you want to talk to them about how to take care of their welfare, and they think that I don't have money to build a house for them, I don't have money to feed them properly. So we come in with the alternative livelihood project, which we are doing small, that is introducing them into especially vegetable production and introducing them to some few people who can buy the few vegetables they're able to cultivate, so that that one can be a source of addition to whatever they were going to be getting from the animals. And that one will encourage or lure them into giving more time for the animals they have. So it's a big challenge actually, but we are trying as much as well. Sometimes you need to be a bit political to them so that they appreciate what it means to take good care of their animals. I don't know whether I've answered you well.
Yeah, precisely. So I really think that animal welfare and human welfare goes together, as you have iterated. I think that's why I asked the question, because mostly I think as organizations, when we are looking into the issues of animal welfare, I think it's always also important to highlight that, in the African region, there is also the case of human welfare, which, is in tandem with low income levels. So, when you are looking at animal welfare alone, you would see that human welfare would be prioritized by humans and compared with animal welfare. So I think this is something which I think as organizations we can look into deeply and see how to solve the animal welfare situation, while also considering that that is affected by human welfare and low income levels in Africa. Thank you so much. I see a hand from Daniel. Daniel, you can go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Safani. First of all, I want to thank Safian for such a splendid presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you very much for the great work you are doing to help animals. My little contribution, I will just have to add is on this very topic of the when you are being posed as an advocate, when you are being posed with the question of why people should consider animal welfare, why people should do better for animals. And I think from the two responses, what I would just have to add is one of the metrics of increasing welfare among people in a particular population is always awareness. And by you going out to engage these communities, you are creating that awareness, and it might not necessarily have an instant impact, but when you look at across over a period of time, you see that people will, one way or the other, not necessarily in totality, but improve how they deal with animals, and that is really important. So thank you so much for your work, and I look forward to collaborating with you.
Thank you very much, Dan, for your suggestion.
Yep, I think that was a great comment from Daniel. Thank you so much. I also see a hand from Mubarak up here.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Good evening. Please, my concern is about human wildlife and conflict. So I'm suggesting that our activities must also be extended to them too, especially in Ghana. They are practicing a monoculture. Thus, they are just implanting alien species such as Cinderella and tick without any habitat restoration, which is affecting the welfare of the wild animals. Thank you.
A very interesting comment from Yeah, from
Mubarak.
Mubarak, yes. I think he's talking about still the same, like the balance between animal warfare and human warfare, where I think, when we talk about human warfare, we are also considering on monocultural systems, which have been brought about to actually sustain a human livelihood. And that is what is also affecting animals. So I think when we are thinking into our programming, we should also take into that in consideration. I can see a hand from Nduta or Hindi. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Abdul, for your presentation. I especially like interventions. They were very simple and very practical. So thank you so much for that. The question I had was on the reception in terms of, you mentioned one of the challenges you're going through is, for example, lack of interest. And some people even ask you, like, why do you care about animals? So what do you, when you're making this presentation, are there any things that have worked in terms of being able to convince more people to actually take into consideration the welfare of animals?
I don't know whether I get your question right, but we're also talking about how we try to convince people into understanding or coming to terms with animal welfare issues. Is that it, correct?
Yes, that's it.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. So also, what we try to do is that it depends on where we are going. Okay, if we are going into a community where, assuming they have a lot of donkeys that they work with, we situate our welfare issues around the donkeys. Try to educate them. We just put them together and let them know what the donkey is and what benefit it has for them. And also try to let them know that if you do this and that for it, it will do more. And so the animal welfare issues are not so new in practice. People have done so many things, but they don't really know the effects of what they are doing. And so what we try to do is to let them relate with the best practices they were doing or the things they were not doing, so that they see the effects of the things they were not doing and the benefit of the things they are doing. And so that way, people are able to understand that we are not supposed to do A, B, and C. We are supposed to do A, B. So that way, you'll get them even wanting to know more about the animals they are working with or they have. And so education helps us a lot in trying to get people to understand what welfare is.
Yeah, thank you so much, Abdul, for that great answer. I think I can just concur with you that I think to really kind of like push people towards gearing their mindsets and making decisions over like if they are to do or adopt a certain practice has to do with how you make them see the advantages or the good things that come with that practice. I think if you take a practical perspective or approach, and once they see that, they tend to adopt easily. So, for example, with the abattoirs, etc., if you talk more in line with how you inhumanely slaughter animals and how that affects the quality of meat, and then you actually show them practically the quality of meat that can be gotten from an animal that has been slaughtered humanely compared to that hasn't been slaughtered humanely. I think once effects, people tend to change their practices because they know that it would work to their advantage and to their advantage. I will. So the same way, yeah.
Yeah, that's what in relation to the abattoir issue. What we tell the butchers is that if you manhandle an animal, it reduces the shelf life of the carcass. And practically, that is it. Some of them will even relate to it and tell you that this time we slaughter our animal, put it in the fridge, and within 3 days, the meat gets spoiled. It's in the fridge and still gets spoiled. Why? So we tell them that because of the way you handle the animal prior to slaughter, that is why the meat gets spoiled, because the animal is stressed and pain, and so the meat becomes it has what develops what PSD. So if you do that, then they begin to appreciate that no, if we want to really benefit from what we are doing, then we have to go your way. And that way, you will see them coming around to learn more and then take whatever suggestions you give them. Stefani?
Yep, thank you so much. I think we are within the hour. I think I'll take one more comment or question, and then maybe we can have closing remarks. Okay, I don't see a hand, so I'm assuming nobody wants to comment or give questions. This webinar has been very exciting. It was very exciting to learn more about what is happening in Ghana and what WACPAW and Abdul are doing in line with animal advocacy and in line with animal welfare work. I believe that in the African region, animal welfare is a new topic. And I believe that all of us, as we come together and push forward this animal welfare topic and intervention, I think it will make a difference, because animal welfare, the animal welfare topic is quite significant and it makes a lot of impact. There are various dynamics of animal welfare, including farmed animals, wildlife, and pets inclusive. I think as we come together and share key learning areas, it's always vital for our programming. So it has been exciting. Thank you so much, Abdul, for this session. I believe that people have learned one or two things that they can still implement within their African countries. At the same time, they have also shared what we can improve on in line with the work that we do. At this point, allow me to also encourage people on the call to learn more about Animal Advocacy Africa through our website, our social media platforms, and you can even contact us directly if you are not part and parcel of the organizations which we work with. Over time, you can always contact us directly if you would wish to work with us to get more information. As earlier said, I think our work is to actually promote animal advocacy organizations in Africa to make a big difference. Thank you so much.